Hello, my fellow lint-filled ox ports. I'm Mr. Church, and today we're going to be building something down here at the bottom of the ash heap. As you can see, it's right near nothing. There's literally nothing around. But there's this little crater here, and what we're going to be doing is building inside the crater. And the inspiration for this build is the Children of Adam from Fallout 4. We're going to be starting off by making the house that we live in, and then we're going to kind of wall in the rest of it. Now, if you're wondering where I've been for the last 300 years, I've been very sick. I have some kind of sinus infection, and of course my nose being the size of Mount Rushmore, it has a lot of nasal potential. You know, if it starts filling up, it's going to be full for many years. It can take so many years to drain such a pile of... That's disgusting. Let's move on from that. I didn't even say any of that, luckily. I'll just edit that out of the video. You can probably still hear it in my voice. I'm still nasally, but I don't care anymore. So what? Let's have a hideous sounding video and we can all laugh at me. How about that? That could be something that you do today. Now, what we're going to do, as you can see, is use this super reactor and put it on top of carpets. Now, I know we don't want to build with a super reactor. It's dumb, and when you pick it up, the whole world lags out. But given the state of the game today, you're not going to notice that amount of lag. It's really not going to be any different anyway. I also hope you guys are enjoying the new update. I think that the Tunnel of Love is my personal favorite. God knows we need some of that. Seismic activity, a little weird. I thought it was an interesting choice to add stop motion animation during that event, or I don't know if it was supposed to be. But I was getting about 3 frames every hour. Are you supposed to be able to like move and stuff, or is that for the next activity? I don't know. I didn't invent the of course that event, so I don't know exactly how it's supposed to work. Now, as you can see, I made a little thing of carpets. We built on top of them, and then we're getting it so that everything is on top of this spike board trap. And then what we're going to do is sink down that spike board trap so that it's above everything else. And this will all make sense once we start doing it. But the the goal here today is we're going to be sinking this down into the ground quite a bit. And the reason why we're using the spike board trap is we're going to be building inside it. That's right, that's going to be the house that Mr. Whatever this guy, bearded man, lives in. And he's going to be living in that house, as I just literally said, and that's why I'm going to start scripting my videos, because then I won't say randomly pineapple, which can be kind of off-putting to people. And if you're eating pineapple instead of pudding, that's good. You're off-putting. Haha, that is such a good joke that I made. Now, when you're sinking this down, you're going to have to move it. You're not going to want to move it. You're going to have to move it back and forth, because it's not going to want to directly stack on top of itself, and that's what it's asking you to do when you sink an item down. Things that can't be put on top of themselves, like punji boards and stuff like that, you got to move them back and forth, find a fresh spot on the proverbial, it's not proverbial, it's a literal, it's an actual physical human, it's not human, it's just, forget about it. Now we're going to be sinking this down. As you can see, it sinks that down so the hideous square platform isn't visible, and this still leaves accessible for us the spikeboard trap, which when I break it, we're going to be building that house inside it. That's going to make everything that's on top of it, with finger quotations, disappear, because that's what's holding everything up, and it's broken. So that's all gone, and that will allow us to build in this area right here. Now, this is perfectly beautiful and jolly and festive and glorious and whatever else. I don't even know anymore. What we're going to be doing next is you're going to have to keep repairing and breaking the spike board trap, which will kind of let you see where everything is placed, and then you're just going to keep moving things about and trying to get that just right. And when I say just right, I mean, oh my god, just so beautiful and good. Oh, I didn't mean to make that sound like the AM radio my dad listens to, unfortunately, on the way home from the orthodontist. Thank you, Father, for the trauma. I didn't need that. No, I already had it from the little... Hey, today we're going to be putting spacers in your teeth. What are those? They're little plastic discs. We're going to floss them between your teeth. At first, it just feels like that little piece of food you can't get out. But over time, it creates this lovely pain that's just incomprehensible, and you won't be able to chew on anything because your teeth will be numb. And then when you bite down on a piece of nothing, even touching your molars together will create this excruciating pain inside your body. So of course, on the way home, let's just top that off with a little bit of this. No, I don't want that. You know, like, how about we get to pick what we listen to for once? Now, I did get some complaints in the last few videos. I'm not sure what they were going on about. Something about, this guy thinks he's so funny, and no. I specifically warned you the first time you ever clicked on this video. You know what you're getting into here, and it's not good. Be careful. Watch out. And you watch it at your leisure. You clicked on the video and then chose to watch it, and it wasn't my fault. Okay? And so that's okay. I get it. I'm not making jokes. If you think that it's funny, you're laughing at someone's pain. Okay? So, let's get that out of the way. And also, what's up with the orthodontist? Huh? And I don't even know why we're talking about that. Why do you always bring up the orthodontist when we're building something completely unrelated? Like, here I am, in the ash heap, trying to build this thing. And I'm trying to show you that, yes, it gets repetitive. I get it. But so does going back there every week and then being like, oh, wow, we're going to put this appliance back in. What the fuck is that? And every time it's got like an extra arm, bionicle arm sticking out of it. You know, and here's the thing. I didn't even wear my retainer, so my teeth just got crooked again, okay? It wasn't worth it, but neither was watching this video. See how I tied those together there? Now that is masterful. But what we're going to be doing is the same thing we've been doing. We're moving things around. We're repairing the trap to make sure nothing's sticking out of the edge. And then when it is, we're leaving it like that. I'm not going to rebuild this over and over again. You know, that is way too much work. If you want to do that, that is something that you can do. I am kind of like lazy and dumb, okay? And I'm not going to be doing that. I actually will, okay? Because I can't stand it if it looks hideous. But when everything's finished, I want the stuff that's inside here to be accessible and usable, obviously, and with the cooking station. But this is how it looks. I put some decorations in and really shoved a lot of detail in there. That's the important thing when you're building. Detail. Make it happen. Everything is usable. The chair is usable. And the bed is usable. The calamari. Usable. You can eat it. And then you just pile everything around. You know, and I'm showing you this right now because when the thing is built and you come in here, you can move around in here, but it's really hard to get a good idea of it. But we have the house built now, and the idea for this place is, like I said, inspired by the children of Adam. And this game obviously takes place long before they existed, but what if they had an ancestor who really started things off one day? What if he was fucking around with radioactive waste, you know? And what if this was his home, and he was this crazy scientist who lived alone in the middle of nowhere, and fabled people go to see him get shot with a gamma gun and leave with an extra arm. And some people would say that's a good deal, you know? And I could go for an extra limb. And I'm not going to say which one, you already know. the ear. Those aren't limbs. Now, obviously, everything floats in this game. We're not allowed to build things that look good. That would be stupid. So instead, we're going to be using many drop merges, which the community invented so that we could build in the game. And what you're going to be doing is, obviously that is floating as well. You're going to be building the stuff you want to put in here on top of a smaller item and then drop merging using the pressure plate. Obviously, just make sure the pressure plate is pushed down. If I didn't explain that earlier, it's because I forget. Maybe this is the first time you're watching Fallout 76 build video and you haven't seen that before. If that's the case, I apologize for this, because I'm sure this was a rude awakening and a hideous way to find yourself inside the community. Not everyone's like this. Don't worry about it. It's okay. Just find someone that won't make you have some kind of disease, you know? It'll be okay. Anyway, I'm gonna sink this down because I want to use the top of this, what even is that? Some kind of cart? As like a pipe that's sticking out of the ground. And these little wine bottle candle things are really useful because they're very small. So even if they're floating a little bit on the ground, it's really hard to see that and notice it. You can also use lanterns to float things. And if something won't go on top of an item, and it says it needs support, just put it next to something else, you know, to try to kind of get it on there. What I said made no sense. But obviously, if the pressure plate, if you're drop merging stuff and the stuff is coming towards you on the pressure plate instead of just staying in one spot, try getting it up out of the ground a little bit. I think it was Milne that showed me that. He mentioned that if you have it up out of the ground a little bit, if the pressure plate's sunk into the ground a little bit, that stuff will come forward. And so I usually stack two up. Anyway, right now we're going to be doing something which you might have seen before, and that's going under the map. Now, normally I use the symptomatic, but right now it's broken, and I also don't have it unlocked in this character, so I'm going to be using the alien stasis chamber. You can use them exactly the same way. Now, I'm going to be putting this configuration of rugs like this, and the one on the bottom is going to be sunk all the way to the top, so that one is going to be the Cappy rug here. And the other big rug is just so we have a platform underneath the ground when we get down there. It was Stole Your Sweet Roll that I first saw doing this with carpets, and it's a really good method to get under the ground and work without having to get, you know, with all the making like stairs and foundations and getting down into the ground that way. So the reason why we're going under the ground is there is a pile of radioactive barrels inside this base, and I want them to actually be radioactive. You know what I mean? So underneath the ground here, the ground's a little goofy because of all the rocks and bulging things. But I think like right in that space right there, we can float some gamma traps. These things, the rad emitter traps. Now I already have this built. All I did was take a big rug and put 1,000,000 on it and then hook the wires up to it. You can get the rad emitter plan from Graham, and I think there might be other places you can get it, but that's where I usually see it. And just have it like this, make sure all the wires are connected to each other, and that's all you need. And we're going to be sinking this down as well, the same way we sunk everything else. So we're going to get it so that the carpet is sitting on top of this bottle, and then we're just going to use, again, the drop merge to sink it down in. Now, I think every single aspect of this build I merged into the ground, so maybe it would have been a good idea to mention at the beginning how the drop merge worked, but of course that would require, I don't know, competence, and I'm not going to like sit here pretending that's something that I have tons of. It just wouldn't be very honest, okay? But honestly, I showed how to sink down the junk wall, and then obviously just continue that around the outside. I didn't want to have to like make you watch me do that to 50,000 different junk walls, but you do the same way around the outside edge. I thought I'd add that as well. We'll look at that again later, but as I have ADHD, let's stick to 40 things at the same time, okay? And so we have this sunk down under the ground here. It's right there, so that when it's triggered, all the rads are going to come up through the ground, and now we just need a way to trigger it. So we're going to use a couple of things. We're going to take this pressure plate. This is what's going to be triggering it When people walk on the ground, it's going to trigger it if we hide this right under the ground. Now, in order to get that under the ground and invisible, we're going to put it on top of this candle here, and we're going to drop merge that, okay? But before we do that, what we're going to do is we're going to hook the wire up to any of the gamma emitter. It doesn't matter which one. Excuse me as I do. It's just I have a lot of cram in my throat. It's a special food. Pick it up, move it once, and then the wire after that, you can place this anywhere and the wire won't break. So then we're going to bring this over to where I have a generator. Believe me, we will. I'm just messing around real quick. We're going to place that down, and then we're going to hook it up to the generator, and then we're going to move it once again so the second wire doesn't break. So let's go ahead and move that once. And now after that, you can move this wherever you want, and both wires will stay where they are. They won't break. Same rule. So we're just going to drop merge this into the candle. And so the candle is going to be sitting on the ground, and then underneath the ground will be the pressure plate. We don't want to get it too low, or we won't trigger it by stepping on it. But we do want it so that it's not visible. And if the poker is sticking up a little bit, no one's going to see that. So just put it somewhere where you think someone's going to walk, and if they walk up near these, then it'll set off these rad emitters, and you'll be fucked, like this. Oh boy. Yes. Now, I'm going to add a little bit of some detail to the outer wall. This is one thing I added to the wall. Again, it's a lot of junk walls and stuff, but I want to have these like rubbish stairs here. If you want to get stairs by themselves, you can't just put them down like this and get rid of the foundation. It won't let you. But if you put a second foundation in, then you can get rid of it. Why? I don't fucking know. There's no reason. There's no reason for that. But this will add to that wall. And the way the crater is shaped, it's kind of on a hill. So we're going to put a bunch of our junk walls all on one side of the hill to kind of make it all even. And there's a spot in here that's really tricky to build anything on because it's a hill, but it also has garbage underneath the texture of the earth. So we can't, like, place anything. It hates us really bad. So, we're going to sink down this decoy duck, but first maybe we should put stuff on it. Yes, we're going to put some things on this carpet, and then we're going to sink down that duck a little bit, and then we're going to be able to place the duck on the hillside, and all this stuff will kind of look like it's half buried in the hill, if that makes any sense. If it doesn't make sense, I'll show you in like 12 seconds, maybe less. I don't know. It really doesn't, you know, make any difference. Anyway, as you can see, everything's red because there's so much garbage and stuff, but I do get it to place down there. I just didn't have it on the video because I didn't Anyway, so also we're just going to be sinking this down as well. This will cover up one of the holes in the wall. I just thought it'd be interesting to use that. Why not? I could actually give you a few reasons. But let's take a look at the finished product now that we have that done. Again, it's pretty simple, really. It's just the middle area is the sunken down area, which we just built a tiny little house in. And the rest is just a bunch of drop merged junk. Okay, as you can see, I put that doll there. She does look a little constipated, I won't lie, but this is a perfect place for her to be hanging out if that's the case. We have lots of radiation, we have lots of contamination, and we all have lots of constipation. So I think that this is a good mashup, if you will, and I don't really want to use the word mashup after talking about constipation, but there you have it. We just did, and everything's terrible. I stepped on that shit and died again. Whenever I die, my neck gets so long, I don't even know how to explain it. But here I am back at the wall, and as you can see, I put a lot of junk walls in, I put that tree in, but mostly I mixed in some of those chain link fences. But all those junk walls, I did the same thing I did with the first one, which is I drop merged them down into something so that I could sink them into the hill. It's the same exact method, I just did it around. It's kind of tedious, so I didn't show all of it. You know, who needs to see all of that? No one. No one needs to see any of this. The fact that you made it this far, actually, I really appreciate that, okay? So thank you for doing that. Thank you for watching. And then, as you can come this way, I have a beard and glasses, and am a child of Adam. Maybe the first one. Maybe I'm the father of Adam. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense, does it? No. So let's look back here. We've got, of course, plushies. Why wouldn't we have that? And then we have, like, pipes and things, a rock. Oh, wow, a coolant fence. We put that on the wall. No, I don't think I'll be having any of that at all. Thank you, but thanks for the suggestion. This, of course, is drop merged onto this burner, and this is drop merged onto that little candle. And let's go inside. Again, the way to get inside this is by using the cooking pipe from the cooking stove that sticks out of the wall. And you can come inside the little house we made earlier, and you can see everything. It's kind of lit with that weird glow from the radiation fusion thing. What is it called? I don't know, a reactor, I guess. You have like these natural windows in it from the edges that you can see out of. And little, again, the calamari. We can't forget about little Callie. And then, of course, this is a little area where you can just kind of jump out if you want to get out of here, which I really do. And that stuff just sunk in naturally because it snapped down into the stuff that's already sunk into the ground. Beautiful. Same with the generator. That stuff I lucked out on. That was pretty good. But this whole side of the hill here was really tricky to build on. There's a lot of garbage in the ground itself. This asteroid is sunk onto that little candle again, and this is sunk onto that lantern back there. So everything is kind of just drop merged onto tiny items, and then that allows me to shove it into the side of the hillside. Same with this. It's on the little candle, and this workbench is on top of this scarecrow. And that will just go, and this will just go right into the ground, of course. And this is the top of the little crater here that we have built inside. There's a pile of refuse, I think is the only word for it. There's actually many words for that. It's just some stuff. I don't really know why you're making such a big deal about it, to be honest. Anyway, that's fun. Let's look. What am I looking at? I couldn't tell you, to be honest. But as you can see, he's got all that stuff over there for radiation. And then up here, if he wants to, there's actually a little trail you can follow, which goes into this little cave. And inside the cave, you can kind of just say a prayer or two. Maybe take his psycho. And, yeah, it's a good place for him to develop a religion or a cult, if you don't mind. But I want to take this time to also point out the lighting in the game is ruined. It's been ruined for several updates. It looks pretty fucking bad. If you notice, the shadows are all messed up. It's way too light and washed out looking. That's not supposed to happen. It's especially bad if you fast travel to a spot where you're already at. You'll be inside this square. You can see the line here where on one side it's light and on one side it's dark. And then it kind of adjusts randomly as well. But you can follow this line and you will find that it is a box around your location. And that's really bad. But the lighting in general is bad. The shadows, something's wrong with the shadows. But also, this is terrible. Now, if you also like having graphics that are better than a Nintendo 64, consider going into the Bethesda Discord in the 76 Bug Reports channel and mentioning the lighting, specifically how the shadows are all messed up, and if they would please address it, because it's ruining our lives. I think it's ruining my life pretty bad. To be honest, the bar's pretty low there. There's not much you have to do to ruin it at this point. But it's still ruined. That's all I really want to say. But thank you for indulging me on the small rant. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you so much to my patrons and channel members for your support, especially when I've been so unuploady lately. Thank you so much for your patience. I've been very unwell. Hopefully I can get back to uploading more rapido. But if you guys are not already, join my Discord. It's a great community. I also stream on Twitch if you want to watch me be a complete and utter idiot. I mean, you don't have to wait as long, because sometimes I'll stream when I'm on my deathbed. You never know. And I'll see you guys in the next video. And don't forget, tomatoes are actually a vegetable.